Hi, welcome to English 101 Fall 2021 edition. Once again, online. Thank you, COVID. I'm Andrew Hoffman, and I will be your instructor this semester, and I wanted to walk you through the syllabus today, just for a few minutes, so we can touch upon some of the most important things I'd like you to know right from the very start. Okay, so as you look at the front page of the syllabus, first of all, you have my email. This is my district email account. This is obviously one of the best ways to get a hold of me. I should also tell you there is a message system on Canvas, which is also a good way to get in touch with me. Now, even though we're not on campus, we're still holding office hours Monday through Thursday. That means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. I do use the same ID, the same Zoom personal ID for all of my meetings, and here it is right here. Now, there is an announcement on Canvas. It's actually the very first announcement that I posted that does have an invitation. You can use that any day that you want to come and see me, okay? That's always what the ID will be. Now, you do not have to have an appointment to see me during my office hours. But it is kind of nice if people let me know, so I can expect certain people to show up. That's usually very helpful. But it's not mandatory. And if you just pop on in one day, so be it. There you go. The required text for the course, there is just one required text, and it's called Monsters. It is now in the second edition. You'll recognize the second edition because it has a green dragon on the cover. Okay, not a gargoyle. Don't want a gargoyle overlooking Paris. That's the first edition. The Green Dragon is the second edition. I've also put down, this is available in ebook form as well as regular print form. If it's a situation where you're probably pressed for time, if you haven't gotten the book yet, you're just starting the semester and you still don't have the book, I recommend getting the ebook. Okay. The recommended text. Now, I'm not asking anybody to buy this particular book, okay, but it is the MLA handbook. It is now currently in the 9th edition, and we do use it as our reference for documentation. I'll be talking more about that this semester, and I do have some handouts on Canvas that instruct you on proper MLA documentation form. Nevertheless, I did want to put this down as a recommended text. Okay. Now, the course catalog description here, you can read this on your own. It's pretty straightforward. It's basically, here we are in freshman composition, right? We call it reading and composition, but, it's a freshman composition class. That's what we are. Now, the one thing I want to point out that might stand out as you read through this paragraph is this right here where it says that you will write at least 6,000 graded words. Trust me, if you do the work in this class, you will have no problem reaching that 6,000 number. The only people who have trouble, though, are people who don't turn in work. And then, even if you have a passing grade, technically I cannot pass you if you've not produced 6,000 words. Of course, if you haven't produced 6,000 words, chances are pretty good you're not getting a passing grade anyway. Now, I did want to also point this out. This is not in the catalog. This is my own statement. A basic assumption I make as I teach this course is that each student intends to transfer to a four-year institution. Now, I know many students at Mesa are not intending to transfer because you're going into other kinds of programs and you don't need to transfer to a four-year school, and that's terrific. But this is a transfer level course, and I teach it like it's freshman English at UCSD, San Diego State, Harvard, wherever you can get into, right? And so that's my approach. That's my attitude. This is college level English, and it transfers as such. So learning how to write well, read well, do research, document that research, think critically. These are all skills that we develop in this course, and they'll help you whether you're going on to a four-year school or not. Course learning objectives, we don't really have to talk about that. Course learning outcomes, again, we don't have to talk about that. This is like stuff only administrators love. They make us put it in the syllabi, but we don't have to talk about it. If you do have questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. What I do want to do is move to the next section, things to keep in mind. These are things that obviously are important to our class. And the first of all is about participation. You know, the older I get, the more I think I understand how important participation is. Even just trying, okay, is better than not trying at all. Now, if you are not trying, you fail to participate in this class, you may be dropped. Now, here's the catch, right? We're not on campus, right? So the burden in an online class, unfortunately, lands on the student. And it's so easy to become disconnected from school and each other. Hate that, right? A lot of people hate that. If you do, stop participating. I will try to contact you and say, hey, what's up? But if I don't hear back from you and you continue not to participate, I will drop you, okay? Just as if you had stopped coming to class in a face-to-face environment, okay? Now, there are some important dates that everybody needs to know right from the beginning. And the first is September 3rd. That's Friday of the second week of the semester. Basically, this is your schedule adjustment period, right? Okay, so you add and drop classes during this first 2 weeks. Whatever you do during that time does not show up on your transcript. After September 3rd, if you're in a class and then you drop, you're going to get a W, and you have up until October 29th to do that. Now, let me just remind you, if you're new to the system here at Mesa College, if you're new to college grading, a W is not an F. It is not a failure. It is not a 0, okay? It doesn't count against your GPA. And it doesn't say why you had to withdraw. It just says, hey, you were here for a while, and then you left. You have up until October 29th to do that. Now, after October 29, if you're still on my roster, you must receive a grade that counts, A, B, C, D, F, okay? So it's very important that you understand that you are in charge of your own enrollment. If you don't want to take this class anymore, or frankly, any class on campus, this applies to all of them, make sure you drop by the drop deadline. If you just disappear, but you haven't dropped, expect to receive an F. Number 4 is about that 6,000 words. We've already talked about that. Late work. This is great. I don't take late work. Love it. Don't take late work. Unless you've got a verifiable illness or some other legitimate reason for being gone, like you had to appear in court. If you don't turn work in on time, it receives an F, and that's a 0F, not a 60F, a 0F. You get 0 points, not 60 points. I've never understood why anybody felt anybody should get any points for not doing anything. That just makes no sense. Number 6, all assignments must have minimum requirements, okay? And I'll be very, very clear, I hope, about the minimum requirements, how many words, how many sources I want you to do for research, what kinds of sources perhaps in some cases. And I'm never, ever, ever trying to be tricky with any of these minimum requirements. They're spelled out, I hope, very clearly on each assignment sheet. If you ever do have a question, please ask. Do not hesitate to ask me. Like say, hey, you said I need a scholarly source like a journal. I forgot. What's a journal? Okay, go ahead and ask me. Don't just think, oh, he means like Ladies' Home Journal, the magazine. No, I don't mean that. Okay, so it's very important that we understand what I'm asking for. Grades. Everybody is always interested in how grades are determined. Obviously, this is a composition class, so the majority of our work is, well, writing essays. So there are going to be 3 short essays, what I call short essays. You may differ. One will be worth 10% of the total. The second 2 will be 15%, so that's 40%. We have a class participation grade, which is 20%. Now, this is actually verifiable work. Thesis, sentence work, workshops that we participate in, quizzes that I may or may not pop on you. 20% for those. Discussion threads, there are discussion threads every week. Okay, and they have 2 due dates. Please remember, I said this before in my letter to you at the beginning of the semester, a Wednesday date and a Friday date. Only the Friday date will actually show up on your Canvas app. Don't be one of those people who is ruled by their apps. Look at the instructions. Every time you'll see there's a Wednesday and then a Friday. 20% over the course of the semester will be determined by those grades. And then the final paper, which is the research paper, this is the big one, the big project. It is the longest work that we'll do this semester, and it is worth 20% of the total grade in the course. Throw that all into the hamper, and that gives us 100%. Now, I let Canvas do the math, and then Canvas will tell me what your scores are. Okay? Here's the deal. Most people, the huge majority of people, land by the end of the semester pretty solidly within one grade area. They're clearly an A student, clearly a B student, clearly a C student, that kind of thing. If, however, you're very borderline, and that is defined as between plus and minus 1%. So let's say you get an 89.7, okay? You're not automatically going to get a B, okay? Maybe you're going to get the A, but what am I going to do? The first thing I'm going to do, in all likelihood, is look at that final research paper. Did you do well on that? Let's say you pulled an A- on that final paper. Chances are really good. I'm going to look at that A- and say, this person deserves the A for this semester because look what they were able to do at the end. Boom, A. On the other hand, let's say you just trashed that final paper, and in fact, you brought your grade down. I might say, I don't think that person deserves the A, right? They turned in a C- final paper. What is that about, right? Then I just go, okay, you get the grade, 89 is a B. Boom, there you go. Students with disabilities who may need academic accommodations should discuss options with their professors during the first 2 weeks of class. I just want you to know this is true for every class on campus, no matter what class we're talking about. I work with the good people at DSPS every semester. I just can't say enough good things about them. And if you are eligible for their services, I encourage you to take advantage of them. Number 9 is about plagiarism, and it's not something I really enjoyed talking about on the first day of the class, but here we go, right? There is this thing called plagiarism. People turn in work that they did not do. We'll probably have an opportunity to talk about this a little bit more in the future, but it's pretty simple. Plagiarism is the act of claiming someone else's work as your own. It could be copying, turning in a paper somebody else wrote with your name on it, right? The verbatim copying without proper acknowledgement, paraphrasing without proper acknowledgement. You change the words around a little bit, but it still wasn't really yours. Putting together a patchwork paper from diverse sources without acknowledging the sources, what we call a cut and paste job. The out-and-out theft of someone else's significant ideas without proper acknowledgement. Now, in all these cases, you see the issue of acknowledgement, and that's where the MLA comes in. Because I don't expect you to do essays without other people's work. I just expect you to acknowledge it when you take an article from a magazine or a journal, something that you saw online, maybe a scene from a movie, right? Acknowledge where it came from, okay? If you don't, we have issues, and you can read all about those issues down here with procedure 3100.3. Number 10, this is my promise to get back to you as soon as I can. With messages. Now, plan ahead. Here are the due dates. We have 4 major essays due on these dates right here. Put those down into your calendar, your book, wherever you keep notes. We have a lot of other assignments that lead up to these days. Okay? But these are the big, big, big days. One a month, basically. One a month. Here's the standards for English essays. I don't really have a lot of time right now. I'm running out of time, and I don't really want to talk about each of these right now. It's probably a better idea a little bit later. I just want to point out one thing. I grade papers. I don't grade potential. I don't grade effort. I grade the paper. What did you do? What did you write? That's what gets graded, okay? That's how it goes. And the last page is a template Please follow this